Alrighty guys, so hopefully you're joining me for part 3 of the B-17 Is It a Problem video series. Hopefully you've already taken a look at the part 1 and part 2. If not, links will be in the description. Go ahead and check those out. But for this part is the conclusion. You saw the numbers. Obviously we had some killer games. Obviously we had some not killer games. What does it all mean? Well, and also, how did I put together this system that's gonna make it all make sense? I can talk still, but this is what I did. I took of the 10 games. I just kept track of my personal score, so I excluded everything else. All I worried about was me. What I did is I kept track of how many planes I was able to take down and not just hit and crit and get them to fly away. I mean, I killed this plane. It did happen a few times where I scared them away or something like that, but no, only the planes that are killed because that's what matters for the points. I also kept track of how many ground targets I was able to destroy, like artillery and AA and stuff like that. Um, and let's see. I also kept track of my average points. How many points is going towards the win or the loss in most cases, but we'll get to that later. Alright, so what I did is I kept those things all for me. And what I also did, because I don't want to bias anything, so you have to average things, right? So I took my average of all 10 games, and this is what I got. My average personal score for 10 games of B-17 gameplay is 371.6, so we'll just round it up to 372. So that's basically what I would expect to be getting consistently is 372 to be happy, like, yep, I'm on par, no big deal. For my ground targets, out of 10 games, I was able to get, let's see, it was 38. No, hold up, that's wrong. That's not the right number. Anyway, here we go. Ground targets. Looks like 3, 6. So I only got 6 ground targets and 1 plane. Alright, yeah. I was mostly bombing bases and bunkers and stuff, so, what do you expect? But those are my scores. Alright, so that 38, that was the everyone's of all the 10 games. I counted every single B-17 player or Liberator or basically just heavy bomber. Didn't matter what it was. It could be a Liberator or a Lancaster or B-17. And I took all the ground targets they killed. They got 38 between us. That's including mine. We also got 5 plane kills between all of us. And so I don't really know what that particular number means. It doesn't really mean anything. It was there. I throw it in. Why not? But the part that really matters here is the score and how I'm doing versus everyone else. Alright, so my average again was 372 roughly, give or take, like 0.4, whatever. So how I did this is I took each game and I counted how many heavy bombers were in each game, and I added up all of their scores. So if it's averaged, so if someone gets a really crazy high score and someone gets a nothing, then it kind of balances out over the course of, however many players there are. So, for example, like this one game, we had 3 heavy bombers, but between us, we were only averaging 94 points per bomber. Granted, some people got higher than that, some people got lower. It's all averaged. It's okay. It's just to keep things consistent and balanced, I suppose. So I did that for every game, and I come up with these numbers. So I have 10 numbers and 10 number of bombers, right? Um, and what I did after that is I added up all of the bombers for 10 games. It turned out to be 43 bombers were in 10 games, which if you divide it by 10, that comes out to an average of 4.3 heavy bombers per game. So about 4 that you can expect to see. Is that too many? That's a question you have to ask yourself. As for you guys, this is my B-17 problem video. I personally think yes, that is too many heavy bombers to be in a single game. I think it should be capped at around 2, or maybe even, I won't say 3, but 2. 2 is enough. We need more medium bombers, maybe. 2 heavies, medium, or 2 mediums and 1 heavy. That's fine. I like that combination a lot better than 4 heavy bombers, which are slugs and just overall not good. Why are they not good? Well, I'll come to that in a minute. Let's focus on the numbers. Anyway, so that the 43 was the total number of bombers, right? Okay, so the average scores across 10 games of those 43 bombers turned out to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,473. All right, that's cool. That's a lot of points, right? Well, not really. If you divide it, how many times 43 goes into 2,473, it's surprisingly low. Doing the math, I'm shocked at how appallingly bad the average was, considering some of the scores that people were racking up. People were getting over 1,000, 800. I got a couple 800s in there, 900s. It's just, but anyway, the average turns out to be about 58. Yeah, 58. That's not good. If you don't believe me, go ahead and crunch the numbers yourself. It's there. I showed you the charts so you could do that. But yeah, 58, guys. So what's the problem? Is it the B-17? Is it the way people are flying it? Who knows? I have a theory though. I've seen a lot of people base rush, just fly in straight in, just I don't care, just gonna go right into the base. No, yeah, every time that happened, you can see it too. You can see it. There's like they get 12 or 13 points. Is that really worth clicking the battle button for? Is it? Is it fun? I don't know. If it is, have at it. For me, I play to win. I mean, I want to have fun winning, but 13 isn't gonna pay for the plane, That's not even gonna pay for a belt of machine gun ammo for one gunner. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind when you take these things up in realistic. But yeah, 58. My average was 372. So okay. Well, another theory I have as to why this thing is so bad is actually I kept track of how many times people ripped in a game, and it turns out it was 1, 2, 3, 4 times I saw people rip. And I'll be honest with you, I just played these games, slammed them out, stayed up all night, cranking these games out as fast as I could, and honestly, halfway through, I kind of stopped paying attention as closely as I was the first half, so it could have been more. But I definitely saw at least 4 separate instances where people ripped and they killed themselves. So if you're gonna fly this plane, you definitely want to be careful on the turns. I would say after playing 15 odd games and not ripping once, a good technique is to throttle down all the way down. If you're going fast, just ease in the rudder, get the top wing up like a shark coming through the water. What comes to mind is that scene from Lilo and Stitch where that red ship is just, cruising up. That's how high you want the wing, is like vertical all the way up. And you just kind of slowly turn. And once you get under about, 280, you can do whatever you want. But, just, you gotta, tender. It's not a fighter. Big old bomber wings, and they're heavy. Lots of force going on it. It snaps like, like a twig. But yeah, that's actually one of my nicknames. Funny story. I wonder how that happened. But anyway, another thing that makes this plane a challenge to fly is just the sheer size of it. It is impressive. It has a lot of guns. It carries a lot of bombs. If you can get those bombs on target, you will do a lot of damage. But however, because of the size, it's really easy to see from really far away. So say you're in a fighter and you're only like what 10 kilometers away, you can probably get away with not being seen. But the B-17, it feels like they can see you all the way across the map. Several games I had a whole bunch of people just, it's almost like they knew where I was going to be before I was there. I don't know if it's because I was playing with them before, like playing just 10 games, 15 games in a row. Other people might be doing the same thing. They see the same guy over and over again. They know his techniques. Yeah, I don't know. But that's what it felt like to me, is that they knew where I was going to be before I did. And they met me there, and they had Focke-Wulf Ds and Spitfires and Typhoons and all kinds of crazy things with cannons that just rip through my wings like butter. And because they're so big, it doesn't take very many holes for them to start to warp and bend and crack and just snap in half. So that's the thing. And, obviously the wings are ginormous targets. And if you want any chance to repel any kind of attack, you're going to need to keep your plane still so your gunners can do their job. Of course, well, I usually like to do gunners in myself. I don't trust my AI. They don't seem like they're very responsive, like they're very awake. Granted, I wasn't awake half the time. I got snuck up on quite a few times, more than I'd care to admit. But it's just, you gotta let your gunners do the work. You have to trust in your ability to get those guys off your tail with the guns. But if you start moving your plane, trying to rock it up and down, just forget it. You're never gonna be able to do that. You're gonna have to rely on your AI, and mine are probably not very well trained. In fact, let's take a look-see at how well trained my crew was. Yeah, they're not that good. Only have like what, 4 experienced gunners. So yeah, I'm gonna take the controls on that one for sure. But that's just an overall opinion of it, I suppose. If you wanna throw money at the game, I personally don't have any money to spare. So everything I do, I have to earn. But anyway, that's getting off topic. So I guess conclusion time. This is the B-17 Is It a Problem video. So conclusion, is it a problem? Well, I would think so, yes. I would definitely say my gut feeling on it, from flying it from past experiences to flying it now after it's been through its 1.3 or 1.43 to 1.45 update, it's still just as easy to kill. It's still just as big as a problem. You really have to know what you're doing to hope to have success. Of course, there's always a degree of luck involved in anything in this game, but it's luck. The cards aren't really on your side in this thing. Other people may agree, may disagree. Feel free to leave the comments below, but numbers don't lie, you guys. Average score is 58. Yeah. Bombers, these things, they may have been great in real life. I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay, like the only thing I knew about a B-17 is my dad had this fireworks store that he set up next to this B-17 bomber restaurant. Of course, it's all stripped down, so there's no tail section, there's no glass, there's no engines or landing gear, just the basic Hulk, and that's all I knew of a B-17. So, yeah, I'm not really qualified to say how good this thing was in real life, but in War Thunder, in this game, in the balancing, in the matchmaking, in the kinds of situations you're finding yourself in, this plane is definitely, it needs not to be flown in realistic. However, that said, in arcade, this thing is awesome. Why? Well, because if you just fly around the side like I did, like I showed you how to do in the first two, well, the first opening video and 2 games of it, just fly to the side climb, get around and above the spawn-in point. You can just circle their enemy base. You can just drop bombs on tanks, on pillboxes, on landing strips, on bases, on anything you can, even on planes. Planes land on the strip all the time, for some reason. But yeah, it's fantastic airplane for arcade. I loved, playing this thing when back in the day when I didn't know exactly what I was doing. It's a fantastic plane just to get up in the air and just have a good time. B-17 dogfights and all that good stuff. I still might do that actually. Post that one as a later video, maybe as a follow-up. But for realistic battle, I don't think this thing really has a place on the battlefield in the current way that the battles are set up. Maybe if the bomb targets were spread out more, or if there was more cover on the ground, like you could fly through canyons or something and lose people. But for right now, it has a terrible climb rate. I mean, let's just take a look. Let's see. Climb rate is 7.2 meters a second, and bear in mind this is an elited vehicle. That's as good as it's gonna get. You're never gonna outclimb anything. The only way you're ever gonna do anything in this plane is to fly away from everybody else. Hope that you're not flying into something, because you'll never outrun it, because it's slow. Your maximum speed level was, for me, around 300-ish, if I'm lucky. And then you gotta take it into dive, but your dive speed is only goes to 490 before it starts to redline. It's not good enough. It's not. I mean, maybe if you had like, I don't know, 300 or 400 of these things, you might get enough through just through sheer numbers, and hit enough bombs to do whatever it is you need to do. But for like 3 or 4, maybe upwards, I've had upwards of 6 B-17 or Liberators, or, it doesn't get the job done very well overall. You can get lucky, just like in anything in this game, but overall, this thing I don't think it has a place in arcade. Or, sorry, in realistic. Arcade, however, totally has a place, because you can reload your bombs in the air. That's the main advantage of arcade. You can do that. You don't have to spend like 30 minutes flying out to your target to get above where everyone is going to be, drop your bombs, and have to fly all the way back to base. You will never, ever, I guarantee it, you will never do that. Get all the way back down and then get back up to do another bombing run successfully. The only way you're ever going to get that second bombing run successfully is if there's no one left. There's only one guy and he's being hunted somewhere else. That's the only reason, the only reason why you're ever going to get that second bombing run success. Out of those 15 games, I was actually surprised. I was pleasantly surprised that I actually got to do my initial bombing run, actually got to land the thing, rearm it, get it back up in the air, and go ahead and drop all my bombs for a second bombing run. That never happens. I was really pleased that I actually got to do that. However, like I said, numbers don't lie. 58 is the average. I don't know. maybe people just don't know how to fly it. Maybe there's just too many people flying in and just not doing anything. Base rushing does not work in this thing, and the Canberra or the B-57, probably, yeah, you could get away with that, but not the B-17s, no. Um, yeah, I mean, if you guys have a different opinion, if you think I'm totally talking out my butt, um, if you totally agree with me and think that this thing shouldn't be flown in realistic and only in arcade, it's just my opinion. And I went ahead and told you my opinion at the beginning. I backed it up with some numbers, and I'm confirming it again that my initial opinion was correct. And yeah, for me, I'm okay with that. That was a fun little test. I enjoyed doing it immensely. It only cost me about 8 or 9 hours of sleep, which honestly I don't even feel it. Stayed up all night. I didn't just to run these little games to get the tests, get the test data, and I don't even feel tired. Didn't even drink coffee or sugar or nothing. It's great. I can't say if that's ever happened to me before. That's a pleasant change of pace. But anyway, yeah, there it is. So, outro time, I guess. If you liked this video and this concept in general of just how I did things, with the averaging and just getting a whole bunch of hard data to back up my opinions, and if you like that kind of thing, feel free to like this video. Tell me about it in the comments. I want to know if this is something you want me to keep doing with other planes. I'd be more than happy to take a look at anything that I have unlocked and do a similar process where I play 10 games, average the scores with everyone else and myself, and compare and contrast and all that good stuff. Yeah, more than happy. Just leave a comment saying which plane you'd want me to take a look at. Of course, this was a very time-consuming deal here, so it won't happen immediately, but maybe on one of my days off, I'll go ahead and try to put together 10 games now that I actually know how, what I'm doing in terms of getting the scores all set up, so I don't have to redo games. It'll probably go a lot faster, as well as you'll probably pick a plane that's a lot faster. So I'll get those battles going a lot quicker. But yes, let me know. I have a whole bunch of new content coming out this week. This week is the War Thunder launch week. What my channel is going to be primarily focused on is just War Thunder content. I know I got a portal walkthrough going on right now, but that is starting to fall to the side. It's not going to be discontinued. I am focusing on War Thunder content right now, getting as much out as I can, so to keep your eyes peeled for more. It's going to be uploading pretty much all week. So anyway, like I said, if you liked this video, if you like the concept, if you want me to do more, if you have ideas for other things that I should do or could try, things that you want to see me do, if you have any questions about how I did my averaging, or if there's a problem with how I did my averaging, granted, I am not a mathematician. I pretty much sucked at math most of my life, but I think I got this pretty handled on. It's pretty accurate. It's correct. But yeah, leave a comment below. Feel free to subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.